Shalom. First off, I want to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS to rule well. Shalom to the elect of Israel, beginning with the 144,000. And to all you Akim and Akwaf tuning in, may this lesson be edifying. This is the brother Halal from the Great Millstone Chicago camp. And I'm going straight into it. This lesson is going to be about how, it's really no point in arguing, with these niggas out here in the world about this gospel, man. With all the prophecies that's unfolding before our eyes, if the people of this world can't receive it, then it's no point in going on and debating with them, man. And when you read these scriptures, you will quickly find out that it's a part of our custom to, go from the presence of a foolish man where you don't perceive knowledge in him. So I want to start off with the book of Titus, chapter 2, and matter of fact, Salakia, Titus chapter 3. It says, Titus chapter 3 in verse, matter of fact, I'll start at verse 9. It says, but avoid foolish questions and genealogies and contentions and strivings about the law, for they are unprofitable and vain. So we're not supposed to be, answering, foolish questions, having endless debates like these other camps will be doing, going on to these different podcasts and endlessly debating with Christians, who are ultimately never going to receive this gospel, that are going to continue to stick to the false fairy tale illusions of what they've learned. Verse 10, it says, a man that is a heretic after the first and second admonition reject. And let's go into the word heretic. And when you go into the word, it's the Greek word
Strong's G 141, heretikos, heretikos.
heretikos, and it means schismatic, factitious, or follower of a false doctrine. It says, or a heretic. Let's see if it says something in the doesn't say nothing in the root word, but basically a heretic is a person that follows the many false ideologies in this world. So it says when debating with a person that's a heretic, it says after the first or second admonition reject, man. So, 2 strikes and they're out. If they can't get it and receive this wisdom and knowledge after the second time you try to reprove and correct them, then there's no point in arguing with them, man. From there, let's go to the book of Sirach. Otherwise known as Ecclesiasticus chapter 27 and verse 11. It says, the discourse of a godly man is always with wisdom, but a fool changeth as the moon. Meaning that they're always into different philosophies and doctrines. That their mind is basically as the wind. One day they believe this and the next day they believe something completely different from what they believed in the previous. I'm going to go down to verse 13. It says, the discourse of fools is irksome, and their sport is the wantonness of sin. The talk of him that sweareth much, maketh the hair to stand upright, and their brawls make one stop his ears. So the discourse of fools, is irksome. When you argue with the fool, the majority of the time the conversation is not really going to go anywhere. This man is going to believe whatever false ideology he believes in, and you're going to continue believing what you believe. So it's no point in debating and going on these different podcasts, trying to go back and forth with people that haven't received this wisdom and knowledge. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33. And I'll start at verse 4. It says, Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet, and taketh not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. So us being the men of Yahweh Bashim Shai, we're giving a warning to our people. Warning them that Jacob's trouble is almost it. Well, matter of fact, we're in Jacob's trouble right now. We're in the beginning stages of Jacob's trouble, but it hasn't fully reached its climax. But nonetheless, we're warning our people that Jacob's trouble is about to fully manifest itself, man. So we're blowing the trumpet. We're sounding that horn and letting our people know what it is and what it ain't. Verse 5. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood should be upon him, but he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. So, all the people who refuse to take heed when the warning trumpet it sounds off, ultimately, that's going to be their fault, man. Let's go down to verse 7, and it says, So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me. And that's our job. That's our main duty and occupation, to warn our people of what's about to happen. Verse 8, When I say unto the wicked, O wicked man, thou shalt surely die. If thou doest not speak to warn the wicked from his way, that wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hands. So if you don't warn the wicked, to turn from their wicked ways and they end up perishing, the blood is going to be upon our hands. So in order for us to not be held responsible for that, we warn the people. We go out week in and week out. We prophesy. We're constantly pushing out videos on the internet. And if we're not pushing out videos on the internet, then, we're out there on the streets, man. On the street corners, man. No matter what circumstance it is, edification is always going to come out. Verse 9, Nevertheless, if thou warn the wicked of his way to turn from it, and he do not turn from his way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. So ultimately, all we can do is warn these 2/3, man. We can't force our people to believe in the gospel of Yahweh Bashim Shai and to believe in the Lord. So if they don't want to believe in it, eventually they're going to die in their iniquity. But you being the one who warned them, us being the watchmen, the men of Yahweh Bashim Shai, that are constantly occupied in prophecy, you did your job. You did all you can do. All you can do is warn them. But if they don't want to take heed, then they're gonna have to learn the hard way. To quote our elder Apostle Gabar, if words won't teach, adversity will. So I'm gonna end this off with the book of matter of fact, before that, I want to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 14 and verse 7. And it says, Go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. So if you don't perceive any knowledge, in the mind of a fool, when you're having a conversation with him, you're supposed to go from their presence, man. And leave them alone to their own foolishness and folly. Let them believe whatever religion they want to believe in. Let them believe in Hinduism, in Buddhism, in the Nation of Islam. Let them believe in plantation Christianity, being an anti-Christian. Let them believe what they want to believe in. If you don't perceive in them knowledge, man, when you recognize that they don't have the true wisdom in them and that they've been indoctrinated with lies. So I'm going to end this off with the book of Sirach, chapter 27 and verse 3. And it says, Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall soon be overthrown. So, all of these people that don't hold themselves in the fear of the Lord, that mock the prophets, that don't want to take heed to the spiritual trumpet being sounded off, eventually their house is going to be overthrown. You know, for them not wanting to listen to the message of the watchman. But, you know, that's it. I hope this lesson was edifying. And I want to say, call halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Merkah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone GMS. Kwam Yasharala Wa Abad Babal.